proceed to ways to keep your bread fresh. Number 1, a partially stale loaf can be refreshed. So, this can be accomplished by heating it in the oven. Heating it in the oven for a few minutes will help to draw the moisture out of its crust and enhance its quality. The loaf should be consumed immediately afterward. So, yes, by dosing the loaf with water and popping it in the oven. Pwede siya. That one steel loaf becomes as good as new, at least perfectly tasty again. Bagan mababalik ba ang iya ka freshness. So, adiliwat ang steps kun that the loaf can be refreshed. So, first is you can preheat your oven to a low temperature. You can set the oven into the 300 degree Fahrenheit or 150 degrees Celsius. Then, ikaduha, you can add water only if the crust is hard. If the bread turned dry from overheating or was exposed to air, it has lost some of its water. Wet the whole loaf to restore the moisture. Then, ikatulo, you can wrap the bread in foil. Diba? Like, you can wrap the bread in foil. So, this so that ma-prevent niyan steam from escaping or keeping the moisture trapped in the bread instead. Then, after heat until soft. So that, and it could be take in 5 to 15 minutes. Then unwrap and heat for another 5 minutes if the crust is too soft. Then of course, at the end, the freshness is back and you are ready to eat and pwede mo siya i-purchase. Number 2 is storing bread in the fridge preserves at better price. Starch retrogradation occurs most rapidly at refrigerator temperature. The fridge, therefore, is one of bread's prime enemies. Even still, there is one benefit to refrigerating a loaf. It delays the development of mold. So, according to Harold McGee, author of On Food and Cooking, refrigerated bread can stale up to 6 times as fast as bread on the counter. That is why, unless you're looking to store a commercial loaf of bread, which will have preservatives that keep it fresh. So, that's why, ang fridge kasi, is usa nga inimes, one of bread prime inimes. It delays because it delays the development of the mold. The number 3 is storing bread in the freezer prevents bread from going stale. The icy temperatures of your freezer arrest starch retrogradation, holding the bread in a stable state. To get the most of your bread, freeze it as soon as possible after baking and cooling, and consume it equally as fast after thawing. Note, the bread needs to be thoroughly wrapped in plastic, and it's also a good idea to slice it into portions prior to freezing. So, we know already, di ba, sa number 1. So, freezing bread is by far the best way to preserve it in the exact state you bought it in. The crusty crust, the soft interior, diba? So, freezing is a greatly down the staling process. And reheating the bread in an oven for toaster actually gelatinizes the starches and makes the bread springy and chewy again. Dapat ipi-place nimo ang imo bread as sealed sa top bag, pushing out as much air as possible, and pop it in the freezer. Ipubutang mo siya nga to freezer. Dapat naka-seal diya para an ear sun bread adala gihapon sun bag. When you're ready to eat, take it out and put it in the oven to revive it. Of course, you can be also frozen again for 2 to 3 months.